right. What's up, party people? Welcome to this week's episode of Life Unmedicated. This is episode 93. Is that correct? Yes, this is episode 93. Um, so I double and triple check that this is not blurry. I'm looking at it right now. It's not blurry. I even used my Zoom on my phone, my phone camera to make sure that it's not blurry. So if it comes out blurry in post, which is a very official word for what I do, but if it comes out blurry afterward, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so today is Monday, October 21st, 2024. Can I get a hand clap? We're doing it on time this week. Praise Him. It's been a really good week, or the last week, my past week since I've spoken to you all, and even before then, the weeks have continued to be great. Um, I let's see, where did we leave off? Okay, well, we'll just start off doing, yeah. So, quick recap. My week was great. Um, I had a really, really busy weekend, and it's kind of still continuing. But I mean, I'm kind of just reminding myself that Wednesday is my last day of struggle, and then it's smooth sailing for a week while I'm on vacation. This is the first time, excuse me, I'm taking a vacation and not working in maybe like 4 years. Because even when I went on like my solo trip, and even when I went to Cancun, I was seeing my clients, like I was seeing my private practice clients. So yeah, this is the first time I'll be taking off for like a whole week and not seeing anyone in like 4 years. So I am going to enjoy this trip because it would probably be the last one that I have for another 4 years. But you know what? I'm not gonna put that. I'm not gonna speak that into existence. No, no, it's not gonna be the last one I have for another 4 years. That's crazy. That is crazy woman talk. Um, Anyway, so yeah, it's been a really busy weekend, but it's been very, very productive. And I'm, on the other, well, can't say I'm on the other side of it now, but now is when I start to transition into like my work week. So yeah, I got to go back to work tomorrow, but it's only 2 days of work this week. I mean, there are two very full days of work because I'm having to like cram my clients all into the first 3 days. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, the week has been great. Um, Yesterday was really tough though because Saturday was such a haze. Like I scheduled every single like grooming appointment that I needed to on Saturday. It didn't sound like a lot when I scheduled it, but it ended up taking up my entire day. So from starting at 11 a.m., which I had to get up around like 8:39 to like do my morning routine. So I woke up around like 8:30, I think, and then yeah, starting at from 11 to 8:30 p.m. 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. I was going straight through with appointments. So that was really tiring. And I drove to my first appointment because I was far, but all the other appointments were walking distance. So I was walking everywhere, which is great for my total steps in the day. But it was just tiring. It was tiring. Anyway, so Saturday was tiring. So Sunday I had a specific plan. I was gonna go to church, well, my morning routine, then go to church, then go finish the movie that I didn't get to finish last week because time management. And then I was gonna come home, go pick up my dress from the tailor, come back, and do some other stuff. What was I gonna do? Oh, I had a onboarding video for to finish my yeah, I had a training video to finish my onboarding. Anyway, I feel like I'm getting besides myself. Anyway, So it was hard because I went to church and then church went a little bit over and then I not stuck around, but I had, like you have a little chit chat amongst the folks afterwards. So that like took up some time that I really didn't realize it was taking up. So by the time my plan was to run through Erewhon, get my collard green wrap, and then go to the movies, catch the last hour of the movie that I didn't get to finish, and then go home and do those things. So I was already running late. I got to Erewhon. I did the wrap I like wasn't pre-made, so I had to ask them to make it. They didn't tell me that they had to go out back, get the greens, and then wash them. So it literally took me like 30 minutes to get a sandwich. And if they would have told me that, I would have just settled for a different sandwich. But at that point, I had already waited 20 minutes, and I'm like, okay, well, I already waited all this time. I missed my opportunity to go finish the movie because I wasn't gonna sit in the movie from the beginning. I was just gonna watch the end because 2 hours and 18 minutes is a long time for me to sit still. And I'm wondering to myself, like, is this a thing? Like, am I not gonna be able to finish a whole movie? But the movie also wasn't as like thrilling as I thought it was gonna be, so I think that had to do with it as well. I don't know if I'm ever gonna finish that movie. If I have time tonight, I may go see it, but we'll see about that. Anyway, so once I got irritated, and then I had to adjust my attitude. God is working on me. And then I was just like, I can't go. Like I can't go. I'm just gonna go home. So once I got home, once I was on the way home, I was feeling very defeated. And I was just like, I'm tired. Like I've been trying to finish this movie all week. This was like my last chance because I know going into this week I'm not gonna have time to do it. And once I get back, they're gonna be like, girl, we're not gonna honor this old and a half movie ticket. So I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna just let it go. So I adjusted my attitude, and then I was like, okay, why do I feel like this? But I realized because I hadn't eaten. It was like 3 o'clock, so I hadn't eaten all day, and I was like, that's why I feel so tired. Because I was ready to give up on my goals for the day. I was like, you know what? It's Sunday. I had a busy day yesterday. Just giving myself a bunch of excuses. But then when I was like, oh, I haven't eaten. So I got home, I ate, and I kind of put it in my mind when I realized that like after you eat, you'll have more energy. So, oh my gosh. I'm so glad I just thought about that. I'm sorry. I just had a moment. I threw away a charger, but I kept the base on the charger when I threw it away. I need to find that. I need to find that because that I can't. I don't. They don't make those bases anymore. I'm sorry. That was such an ADHD moment. I like low key want to go get it now so I don't forget. I'm gonna write it down. Sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Remind me to get base charger in 20 minutes. Okay, there we go. So sorry. They don't make them like that. It's the regular USB charger base, and yeah, they don't make them like that no more. So, and it's the official Apple one, so they definitely don't make those anymore. Anyway, so I lost my place, Lord. Jesus be offense. I'm not very focused today. I'm kind of all over the place, so I apologize in advance. I'm gonna still try to keep this to like 20, 25 minutes max. Oh, what time is it? Okay, I think I started around 11, maybe 11:05. So it's been okay, so once I ate, I felt a little better. My brain was not really like here for it, but I didn't get to do my reading for the day in the morning because I was already running late for church. So I went ahead and did my reading on my walking pad, which is like my part of my morning routine. I spend 30 minutes on the walking pad reading like a chapter, or however long it takes me to read one chapter of the book. So I did that. I finished. I got to my chapter. I got through my chapter, and then I even did the onboarding video because I was just like, well, you're already here. You have more steps to get and a few more calories to burn to make your perfect week, which I made. So, just do it. Just do it. Like Grey's Anatomy will be there. The couch will be there when you finish. It's fine. So I did that, and I think I finished around like 6:30. So it wasn't even that bad. It wasn't bad at all. And I'm just like, these are the ways that I motivate myself when I'm feeling unmotivated. I say things like, the couch will still be there, or the TV show will still be there. I say things like, there's no way out but through it. You got to start to finish, all those things. And then I just try not to think about it and I just do it because at the end of the day, and this is another thing I say to myself, at the end of this 40 minutes, the time will have passed. regardless of what you're doing. So do you want to get to the end of this 40 minutes and say, or this hour, and say, oh man, I could have been done with what I wanted to do by now and I could feel better about getting things done that I wanted to do? Or do you want to say, I did what I was supposed to do and now I'm done and I can go about my life? And I usually would like to say the latter. So it's helpful for me to think like that. All those things, I have to say them all sometimes. Yesterday was one of those times, but I was really glad that I powered through and got it done. I was very proud of myself. So anyway, now to the episode for the week. This week we're going to talk about the ADHD monsters, quote unquote. I think I want to find a different term for that because I don't like the negative connotation that comes with like symptoms of neurodivergence. And yeah, so anyway, diligence, the diligence checklist, and we're also going to talk a little bit about diligence and ADHD and goals. So we'll start with goals. Last week, my goals were to write out my intentions for Life Unmedicated, to eat well, to work out 6 times and get a perfect week, to pack, to clean my house, and on board. So I did not write out my intentions for for Life Unmedicated. Um, because I didn't really have time. I actually didn't really think about it either, and I like what I've been doing, so maybe that'll just be what I continue to do, which I think is what I was doing before. So yeah, um, eating well, did that, can click that off the list. Working out 6 times. I mean, I definitely worked out like. I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you consider working out. No, I don't know. I mean, I went for walks. I'll consider that. That's not what I meant though, but I did get a perfect week. Whoop, whoop. So I'm still gonna click that. I got my 10,000 steps every day. Actually, I got over 10,000 steps every day, and yeah. So I will consider that a win. I did not pack. I'm not gonna be upset with myself about that though because I usually don't pack until like a few days ahead because it just it's a mess. It's a mess. And then I just yeah, so I'm not gonna be mad at myself about that. Cleaning my house. I honestly I don't do that until a day or so before leaving either because when I pack it's a mess. So I don't feel like cleaning and then making a mess and then cleaning again. So I'm not gonna count those either. I did however finish my onboarding, whoop de doo, because that was a task and a half. So I got 3 out of 4 things done. And if we really think about it, I got 3 out of 3 things done because the other things I am not tripping about. Um, so, and that's also a part of like wellness, right? And like taking care of yourself and self care, right? Because being kind to yourself is self care. I'm not gonna beat myself up about the goals that I didn't accomplish because first of all, like it's not helpful, and second of all, I just told y'all why. So it's just I'm not gonna do it. The goals for this week are to I leave for vacation this week, so I've created like a modified routine um, that I would like to engage in while I'm on vacation. So my goals are to be consistent with the modified routine, and the modified routine is still getting 10,000 steps, running 1 mile. The 10,000 steps and running 1 mile will be 4 out of the 7 days. I think that's totally realistic, especially because 3 of the days I'll be there alone. Um, Still maintaining my eating habits. And by that, what I mean is just no overindulging. I'm going to keep my portions right. And I am going to um, just try not to like eat a lot of sugar. I may have some. It is vacation, so I'm giving myself like 1 or 2 here and there. But I don't want to get sugar is addictive, and I don't want it to be like I'm coming back and I have to like start this process over because I finally got my appetite to a place that I'm not like craving a bunch of junk food and I'm not like eating myself out of house and home. So I don't want to regress in that area because it took me a very long time to get here. So even though I'm on vacation, I still have goals that I want to meet and I still have things that I would like to maintain. So that's how I feel about that. And then drinking, I'm taking a fifth with me and I'm not drinking more than that. And my goal for that is to only drink one. I'm taking my flask with me as well, which will also save money. Um, and my goal is to only drink one flask a day or a night because I don't really want to do daytime drinking. I think I'm just going to drink at night and when my cousin and when everyone's there and it's like an occasion because it's my cousin's birthday, so obviously it's an occasion. But like when I'm there by myself, I probably won't drink at all. So yeah, those are my drinking goals and then maintain drinking goals. Um, Aside from that, I mean, obviously I have to pack and clean my house. And then I'm gonna make a goal of to have fun, to have unadulterated but moderated. I think that that's an oxymoron. To have lots of fun, comma responsibly. Okay, cool. So we made our goals. All right. So now to go over the ADHD monsters. So the ADHD. I can't think of anything off rip. So yeah, the ADHD symptoms that no one talks about: hyperfixations, forgetting to eat or sleep, black and white thinking, difficulty making decisions, intense fear of rejection, depression, auditory processing disorder or issues, forgetting to use the restroom, difficulty sleeping, poor impulse control, struggling to recall commonly used words, mood swings, difficulty sleeping, anxiety, sensory processing disorder or issues, and difficulty switching tasks. And this is from, sorry, the name is like really small on the bottom. Something by Autumn. I can't see the whole thing. So shout out to whatever that says. Shout out to Autumn. So hyperfixations are those times when you get like super focused on something. You know, people probably tell you like, or if you have really close people in your life, they probably will even like make comments like, "Oh, she's hyperfixated right now," or "Oh, she's hyper focused right now. She can't hear you," or "He can't hear you." It's those moments when you're so focused on something that nothing else, like you're drowning out everything else, and you can't like function outside of that until you're finished with what you're doing, which can be it can be a negative, I guess, at times. But I like to think of it as a superpower. Honestly, like it has enabled me to get a lot of things done in a short amount of time. When I procrastinate, which is that on here? That should be on here if it's not. That should be yeah, which is another symptom when I'm procrastinating. Hyper focusing is the only thing that's gotten me through. So I appreciate that. Forgetting to eat or sleep. Forgetting to eat is one of those things that I didn't experience unless I was on my medication. But I have heard other people with ADHD say that sometimes they forget to eat. Me, I just be hungry, so I didn't have that issue. Black and white thinking, that's an issue that I have because and you don't really notice it. Like sometimes you notice it, but more so after the fact, or like if I'm talking to my therapist or something about something, I'll start saying it and I'll be like, well, I really, I want to do this and I don't want to do this. And it's often very like no gray area, either 0 or 100. It's like I can't even give an example right now because I feel like I'm just going to go off on a tangent, but it's small things in life too. It's like wanting to get all of your goals accomplished or feeling like you can't get any of your goals accomplished. It's wanting to clean the whole house at one time instead of doing small bits and pieces over the course of a couple days. It's those things those rules that we apply to our life so rigidly that it can become counterproductive at times. And for me, it's been really helpful to realize it in the moment and then try to um, kind of parse out some of the things that, could just be helpful in that moment in time. Um, Difficulty making decisions. I used to have a really hard time with that, but I had such a hard, it's like organization. Like I used to be so disorganized that now I'm super organized because it's become like a coping mechanism. And so now it's the same with decision making. Like I used to be so indecisive that now I just make a decision, I stick to it. Sometimes it takes me a little while to make the decision, and sometimes I need to call in reinforcements, but usually I can make a decision and just stick to it. Intense fear of rejection. We've talked about my RSD on here a lot, so I'm not really going to go too deep into that because there's something else I want to talk about today, and I don't want it to get to like 30 minutes. Depression, we've talked about that. Auditory processing disorder. So I experience this sometimes when I can hear what people are saying, but my brain is not processing it. Like, I'm not, like, I hear you, but it takes my brain a little while to actually hear what you're like. It's like I hear you, but almost like I'm not listening. So it takes my brain a little while to like understand what you're saying. What I've done in this situation, I'm sorry if y'all can hear that, is just try to move more slower and or more slowly and not feel bad about it because I think I used to put so much pressure on myself to like respond quickly that it would make social situations very like a lot of pressure for me. It would give me a lot of anxiety. So moving slower has helped me because first of all, I noticed and I realized that like if you just take a few seconds, no one is judging you and like it's just really helpful. So the amount of helpful that it is outweighs the amount of awkward that it used to be. And I've gotten so used to it at this point that it's like it's okay. And there are even sometimes when my initial reaction will be like, "Huh," but I end up answering the question before they repeat it because I heard it, but I was trying to respond before my brain processed it. Just trying to be so quick with it. Um, so yeah, that has been helpful. Forgetting to use the restroom. I don't necessarily forget to use the restroom, but I use it almost like an incentive sometimes. And I've also learned to stop doing that because that can have long term effects. And so if anyone is watching this and you have children that have ADHD, you really want to talk to them about that because it is a thing. Like some of my clients that I see do it, my child clients that I see do it, and I'll tell them like you have to not do that. You can't do that because you risk lots of bladder issues later down the line. You don't want to be 24 and incontinent. You just don't. That's like it's not cute. If you are, I'm sorry if that's offensive. But I want them to understand the potential consequences of forgetting to use the restroom or purposely holding their pee until they can't anymore. Things like that. Difficulty sleeping. I have difficulty sleeping almost every single night. And it bothers me because I have friends who can just close their eyes and they're asleep before their eyes are fully closed, and it makes me so jealous. But I mean, it is what it is. My doctor prescribed me some trazodone, and usually when I can feel it in my mind. If my mind is going like a mile a minute and there's no there's no sleep in sight for me, I will just take one. And it's very rare that I have to take it. I probably have taken, so I got the first prescription of trazodone. Let's see, when did I have the flu? That was months ago. So I think that was when I still lived in Glendale. Because I haven't been, I mean, because that's the urgent care one too. But I could have just gone there because I'm familiar with it. I don't know. It's been months though. And that's when I got that first prescription of trazodone. And I haven't finished it yet. So it's very, very rare. I think I've probably taken one in the past 2 weeks. Because usually I can plug it out. It may take me 30 minutes to fall asleep, but it's fine. But if it's been 30 minutes and I can tell that there's no like sleep activity, there are certain things that my body does when I'm falling asleep. So if none of that happens, I just go ahead because I'm like, I need to get my sleep. at the end of the day. So, yeah, difficulty sleeping is one of the important impulse control. That's another one. Spending money is probably my worst impulse control. Struggling to recall commonly used words. I did not know that that was an ADHD thing, but it totally makes sense, and I do that sometimes. And then I think, like, now that I know it's an ADHD thing, I'm glad because I'll start to think, like, am I declining cognitively? And I have both my paternal grandparents passed from Alzheimer's or dementia related diseases. So, that's like something that I worry about. Mood swings. I haven't really had mood swings, but then again, I also spend 90% of my time by myself. So I don't even know if I would notice that I have mood swings. Now I now that I'm thinking about it out loud, it does I do, like earlier when I was talking about the situation at Erewhon, I was happy go lucky before then, and then I got irritated really quickly. So maybe I do experience mood swings. But if I find myself in a negative mood, try really hard to like reset like just to kind of my mom would say like adjust your attitude. I pray on it. I ask God to remove it and like just change my heart in general because I don't like to feel negativity towards people. I just don't. And you know when I'm having those moments of like being irritated or being angry, it doesn't feel good. So I would like to never feel that way. And I know that's not necessarily realistic, but I'd like to work towards it. I like to be as at the smallest amount of angry and irritated as humanly possible. um, Difficulties. Okay, so that's on there twice. Anxiety. I wonder if that's an ADHD joke. um, Anxiety. We talk about my anxiety. Sensory processing disorder or issues. Yeah, I definitely have sensory issues, and I didn't even realize that sensory issues were an ADHD thing until maybe a couple of years ago. But there are certain feelings that I can't like. I live my life in a way that avoids certain things because I hate the way they feel so badly, and I notice sometimes other people can tolerate those feelings, and so that's when I started to notice, like, okay, this is a me thing. Like, I have a really hard time being uncomfortable in certain situations to the point where I will just avoid that feeling altogether. I will create some type of way to avoid it or move around it or not to feel it at all, which are all synonyms. But anyway, difficulty switching tasks. I think this is switching tasks and switching cognitive sets. I have difficulty with that sometimes, but I kind of map my time out in a way that I won't have to switch tasks before I plan on it. I have a hard time switching cognitive sets when it comes to switching plans, which trickles down to having a hard time switching tasks. So, ooh, it's probably been 30 minutes. I'm gonna wrap it up, y'all. So yeah, so for that, I just try to organize my time in a way that doesn't require me to, but obviously life be life in. So when it does, I just, I kind of just go ahead and do what I need to do and deal with my feelings accordingly. I used to pout about it, and that just is wasteful when it comes to time. So I stopped pouting about it. I kind of pout internally now. But I usually get over it pretty quickly because at this point I don't have much of a choice. Like I'm too grown, I have too many things to do to be sitting around pouting about something I cannot change and have no control over. So yeah, those are the ADHD symptoms that people rarely talk about, and those are how I deal with some of those items, or that is how I deal with some of those items. So I have to eat before my clients. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. But thank you all so much for joining me today. Next week we will talk about the diligence checklist and diligence and ADHD. Um, and I don't know if that'll be next week or the week after because I may or may not be able to record. I'm not taking this equipment with me, so if y'all get and if I record next week, it'll be on my cell phone. It'll be on my cellular device. Okay, and I don't want to commit to it because I don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, I may or may not see you all next week. If I don't see you next week, I'll see you the week after. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day and your week and your life and all that good stuff. Thank you for joining me. Bye.